Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
I think this might be live.
Yeah, I think it is. I can see us. I was just finishing my jigsaw.
Well, that's fine. We are literally all the men are not here, which I'm not shocked by.
We are live.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Club Melodies. Well, I can use this time to go over the rules for the people that haven't seen this before, and also to myself be like on a little bit more, but not so much I look pasty. Welcome to the Comedy Arcade, you guys. Hey, Paul. Perfectly on time. You're waiting to make an entrance. Yes, for those who haven't read the rules or haven't seen it before, it is a competitive anecdote game that I came up with last summer based on my desperate need for attention when comedy disappeared off the map. So I have a trusty, exciting bingo ball here, full of topics, 30 topics that I sourced off Twitter. So if you think they're weird, it's their fault. And I am going to pick them at random. My lovely panelists are going to come up with their best joke story. And because this is a special SuperPod Live, you can do an interpretive dance if you want.
Mate, I'm practiced for that one, Vix.
That option is available to you. Paul doesn't look that keen on it either.
I've practiced only for the dance, so I'm really
okay.
Actually.
We're
talking of interpretive dance.
Hey, gang.
Hey, you guys.
Nice.
So yeah, I can see you all on the screen, which is brilliant news. Everyone's turned up. That was the thing I was worried about all day. So we're golden from here. And with me, I've got the brilliant Lizzy Pinkhead Pollott beside me, podcast queen, COVID vaccination station dreamboat, and what have I missed? What else do you do?
Just generally helping blind kids.
So you're making an early play for points. For some people that don't know how the points are allocated, I just decide what I'm going to give you based on if I'm entertained. I'm going to have a little look at the chat as well, so I may take other opinions on board, but I'm like RuPaul's Drag Race on this. The decision ultimately is mine, so I will be telling you who's sashaying away. Next to Lizzy, we've got Josie motherfucking Long Shoulder so far. Hello.
I just thought while we were setting up, I'd just finish this jigsaw that I've been spending the week on. Let me just show you. Just show you how good it is, because you're going to be thinking, oh, jigsaw, that's sad. Oh, no. Does this look fucking sad?
Do you want a real answer, or I'm going to make a note for the points?
That is the point, right? That's 1,005 pieces, mate. I'm not here to fuck about.
So, lockdown treated you well. Holding up the women tonight, we have the brilliant sports superstar Paul Watson. How you doing?
I'm intimidated. I'm horribly intimidated. That was a massive jigsaw puzzle there. Helping blind children, massive jigsaw puzzle. How do you follow that?
Thank you so
Just
much.
make something up like Lizzy did.
But she still had the compassion to make up helping blind children. I'm not even there.
You collected 1,000 football shirts for underprivileged children for Christmas, and that is a true thing. So you need to play that card more.
No,
I love
don't
it.
like to talk about it. I like other people to talk about it, and then I pretend to be modest. So thanks.
Okay, cool.
Where were the football shirts from?
Everywhere. Anyone could send any shirt. So it was just like this crazy pile. I mean, basically our house was just football shirts dripping off every surface. But they were just such a weird mix.
Did you have any Watford FC?
We did. Yeah, we did. I think you'd struggle to name a club we didn't have, though.
But your favourite one was the giant shirt from Merthyr Tydfil, right?
The giant Merthyr Tydfil shirt that was big enough for about 6 children. And was a Merthyr Tydfil shirt. Yeah,
We go big. What can I say? I love that Josie is still puzzling. This is extraordinary things. This was not in my predictions. I was going to go. Here she is. She's back. And
I just thought it was a new one. If I finish.
Oh, so you're adding some tension to the podcast in case the stories are boring. I see it. That's cool. I mean, that's on you. If the stories are dull, this is on all of you guys. Anyway, yeah, without further ado, John Robertson, how are you doing? Your shoulder is showing me loads of respect at the moment.
I really like that Josie's committed to one thing today, and it's not the podcast. It's really good. It's really
talking
nice.
about no delay on stream. I'm right here.
Yeah, I knew you could hear me, but that's okay. You finish that jigsaw.
John Robertson, how's your day been? Have you done a puzzle?
Well, look, I'll tell you something. These are all wonderfully worthy, excellent people, and I have spent all day encouraging blind children to steal football shirts, and as a result, I'm rewarding them by breaking apart jigsaw puzzles. It's really a big day.
Are they on their way around to
morally
Josie's
sound
house?
day in the Robertson household. It's going down.
But you did, well, kind of, Paul did something at Christmas, but you raised £3,000 last night, didn't you, for charity? I'll bring that up because you're not going to.
Oh,
so
thank you. Yeah, that was very nice. I've decided I look sufficiently Christ-like without trying to behave like him. I will eventually be killed. And I don't want to make this too dark, but let's put it this way. You know how comedy is not meant to punch down, right? I would strongly suggest that there's no one lower in the UK right now than the fucking Met in London. So their response...
keeping it light.
Yeah, a little bit light. That'll be fine. Yeah, okay, fine. I'll keep it light. Some cops are bastards. There you go. That's me keeping it light for you. But yeah, we raised over £3,000 last night for a women's trust. They do wonderful work. No, they're bloody excellent. They're a great counselling service, and that's what I did. No, I do apologise. I'll now return to vicious whimsy and smiles. There we go. I'm going to put on a jacket so I look more like a magician. There we go.
Welcome to Courses Arcade, and we are going to play. Right, I'm going to start the ball rolling. I'm doing it. It's happening. This is how I pretend I'm in control of everything.
You're in control.
All the time, in my mind. Right, and the category is drunk behaviour. Now, where do we begin with this? I'm going to start with John.
Okay. Do you want scatological or just destructive?
Guys, we'll put it to vote. Scatological or destructive?
I'd go destructive personally.
Yeah,
okay. All right. So
the Toast Monster has referenced the chicken incident, by the way.
Oh yes. Well, look, not everyone can black out during a show and then decide that the audience needs prizes and reach out to somebody's table and see some half-eaten fried chicken and throw it at them and still not lose the crowd, because I left before they did. That was great fun. I keep wondering why my career hasn't gone to the Apollo, and it's because they just won't let me do the chicken throwing bit. No, it's this is what happened. This is what went down. She was my girlfriend at the time. It was before we got married. My girlfriend had gotten a job working at a art gallery. There was an installation, which was a series of mattresses stacked on top of each other, some of them rigged up to beds, and then large sheets had been draped over, and it just went all around a room. It was meant to be like this immersive snowscape. And I said to her, well, that's such a remarkably large amount of mattresses. And of course, there were like 9 of them, and then down and down and down and down. Would it be all right, do you think, if I climbed up to the top and just sort of bounced down all of them? And she said, oh, I see no reason why that would be an issue, which I then took to mean, how about I organise everyone here to do it? And yes, let's just put it this way, with a head full of absinthe and a heart full of dreams, when I heard a bed legitimately break and somebody come in and go, you've destroyed my art, there was a long walk home, a long silent walk home, as I claimed that my girlfriend didn't work there and I wasn't meant to be there at all.
You acted entirely alone. You had to take the hit from that.
Oh, yeah, entirely alone. I just did a thing which was a behaviour at the time, which was, oh, please, I'm very stupid. And then I just walked off. Not
so
great.
You turned an art installation into adult soft play.
Well, you say adult soft play, I say it made it genuinely immersive. So there we and inclusive, god damn it. Everyone could jump on those mattresses. It was no longer elitist mattress bullshit. I'm not proud of this.
I think you are. I don't think I believe that.
It's that moment where you're like, some people look at art and they go, is it art? I look at art and say, if it isn't, I'll jump on it. Perfect.
I liked the art in A Head Full of Absinthe and a Heart Full of Dreams. Wasn't that a Coldplay B-side?
Yes, I'm saying Tom Waits A-side. Got a head full of absinthe. Oh.
We could release that as a charity single.
Feels like that
Well,
should be
yes,
a
because,
slogan.
of course, the charity is that we listen to it. Oh.
Does anyone else have any drunken behaviour to share? Don't pretend you don't.
I'm just an incredibly square drunk. So when I was younger, I remember I used to get drunk when I was at university. I studied French, and we used to go to clubs. You know, clubs. Remember those? And I'd be in the club.
Do you know what? It did take me a second then. I was like, clubs?
Hang on. Well, that's what they call it in France. Yes, the club.
Ah, le club.
Le
They
club.
don't call it that. They call it la boîte de la nuit.
La boîte de la nuit. Bah.
La discothèque.
Alors on danse. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, salut les francophones, il y a ici. Yeah, I used to just go around declining French verbs. You know, so I just like list out my French verbs as a practice. And the worst habit I've picked up in lockdown, and my partner will attest to this. So the best thing about lockdown, when you're in a long-term relationship, is you get to get drunk with that person every weekend. The worst bit about lockdown is you have to get drunk with the same person every weekend. And so I've taken to getting drunk, and then when I just had just the right amount, I'll make Adam watch me plank. You know, planking. Watch me plank, film me plank. And, you know, I'm like, you know, Amanda in Friends. Look how high I can kick. Amanda. That's basically me.
I've never seen any of these planking videos make it to Instagram. Are they not as good the next day, or do I miss them? Do you delete them in the morning?
Do you ever upload ones to stories, and then the minute you upload it, you're like, nope, delete. So they're all in my... I'll send you one, Vix, don't worry.
I need notifications set for this, for sure.
I'm just a square drunk. That's me.
Going to the club.
In the club. Planking in the club.
I'm just so happy with. I like the company of anyone who's like, I get drunk, I decline French verbs.
It's a classy bird, is Lizzie.
I realised as you were saying it, of course, that was a grammatical thing, and that must relate to the word declension. Yeah, is that something?
Yeah.
Because just for a moment, I just thought you were just like, in a very posh way, I get a bit racist when I'm pissed. I walk around, somebody says a French verb, I say, no! I stop it!
No. We speak English here in the club. Le club.
In the club. Dans la boîte de la nuit.
You can change up getting drunk with the same person all the time if you stagger it. So I start at lunchtime, and then you're in a very different place.
What's annoying?
And it just makes it a bit more fun. Like 3 drinks in versus single drinking. It just adds a bit of spice to a day, doesn't it? I mean, drink at lunchtime in general adds a bit of spice to the day, to be honest. I've stopped. My life is an airport now. I've stopped knowing what is appropriate when. It's 11 o'clock. I'm like, oh, the wine looks delicious. Can I have a nap now? Like, I need to be back in the world, guys.
In the club.
Anyway, drunk behaviour. So Lizzie goes to Le Club. John Robertson destroys arts. Paul, what's your drunk style?
Right. So I think what stands out to me is not just one act of of drunkenness, but more an entire month of drunkenness. So it's sort of like more a marathon than a sprint. And I'm thinking of 2006, the World Cup, and I was living in Italy at the time. There was a group of us who were students. We were studying Italian, and they had the stupid idea of sending us all to Italy together. So we basically made it our duty to watch every single game of the World Cup, which is actually quite difficult to do because, you know, they come thick and fast. And, you know, I don't like to call us heroes, but we were every single game of the World Cup. But we decided it was going to get quite flat quite fast. So we added some spice to it by saying we would support the team in every game. And in every game, we'd support the team as if they were our own. The main part of this was we were in Italy, we're in Verona, which is like pretty right-wing, hardcore Italian city. And we decided we'd support against Italy in every single game Italy played. But we wouldn't just do it in a kind of we're anti-Italy way. We would find out who they're playing, buy the kits of that team or a knockoff. learn the national
You
anthem.
were students. What kind of bougie shit is this?
It was fun. We bought the kits. We learnt the anthems. I mean, we had fuck all to do. We learnt the anthems of these teams. We learnt the players. We learnt the players' nicknames. So we turned up as proper Czech Republic fans, proper Ghana fans, proper USA. The USA one nearly killed us, to be honest. That was very hard to do. And we went to these bars in the middle of Verona and cheered for these teams. And it started off that they kind of thought it was fun. It was novelty, and it's these dickheads are doing this thing. But by the second game, I think it weren't doing that well, and it took a really different turn. Daniele De Rossi got sent off, and it was like a really big moment in Italy. They lost their star midfielder, or one of their midfielders at the time, and we were we were so drunk we could barely see, but we were there cheering in front of the big screen, sort of saying cheerio, cheerio to this guy in sort of these, basically as if he was a player who had been sent off against our team, and we were being dreadful human beings. But the thing was, the Italians don't really like this very much, and it had got around in Verona to some pretty hardcore sort of hooligan crews, that there's this group of English twats and they're going around doing everything in Italy. So what happened was, a guy called the Viking, who's like in charge of the hooligans basically in Verona, probably one of the hardest men in Europe, got wind that there's these basically posh boy university twats are spending the whole World Cup taking the piss out of the Italians. He came looking for us in order to basically restore honour. But because we were so drunk, he was unable to get our attention. And his honour code meant he couldn't hit someone in the back of the head. So and we were only told about this the next day by the barman at the bar, who they basically barred us from this bar that we'd been in. But the guy said, look, this guy stood next to you for minutes trying to get your attention so he could deck you.
To punch you in the face.
He couldn't get our attention, so he just left. I think eventually just off. And obviously the end of the story is that Italy won the World Cup. So we basically managed to watch every game of that World Cup and lose every single one of them. And I think in the end, this was a kind of good luck symbol, really.
And the real prize was the friends you met along the way.
The real prize were the hooligans that didn't glass us along the way.
If you name a kid the Viking, he's only got one destiny, really, isn't it? Sort of like, the kingpin of a hooligan group.
Valhalla!
But like with all nicknames, he wasn't. There was no reason. He was of reasonably average height. He didn't have blonde hair. I still don't know why he's called the Viking. We did actually
talking smack about the Viking behind his back now. After you were shown mercy, I think you could have.
Your code of honour is not as good. His code of honour means that
is broken.
You wait in a minute. The Viking will come through a door. My screen will go blank, and that'll be the end of the podcast. Well, the end of my podcast.
I've got to give you loads of points for the commitment to that trolling, though. That is spectacular. There was investment.
Look, once you've learnt the Czech anthem once, you're in. Then you're into this thing pretty heavily. So, yeah, it was. I mean, look back at it. It was a month of profound stupidity.
But all leading to this moment.
Yeah.
Where I gave you a princely 4 points for that whole story. Expertly delivered. I kind of wanted more consequences for you than he just had to walk away because you didn't notice him. And you're my friend, but still, I was like, oh, that's not.
Don't get me wrong, right? If I could go back in time and see us then, I would want us to get decked as well. Like it's like that thing that people do where they test their limits, but they kind of almost want to be slapped down, because there was no reason we should have got away with this for as long as we did. And I still think I'm due a punch in the face from a massive Italian hooligan, but it will probably, it's not going to happen now.
Anyone in Gloucester?
I just really like the idea of you going back in time, standing next to the Viking and just going, tilt your head just a little, just a little, mate.
Tapping yourself on the shoulder.
Sorry, excuse me. This man is the Viking. We don't know why. Give it a go.
Outstanding. Josie, can you match this for pettiness? Investment time?
I've never ignored a Viking. I wouldn't. It's not my honour code. I like the fact that when you're a kid. Oh, late. I now see. I like that when you're a kid, my mum was like, if you ignore bullies, they'll go away. the only time in my life where I've asked him to drink. You just ignored him. And it reminds me of my ex-boyfriend from like 15, 17 years ago, drunk. And he was outside, I think it's the KFC in Brixton. And a guy tried to mug him.
That's a
The guy came
scary
up to me and said,
place.
I've just got off to prison, mate. And my ex was so drunk that he went, I can't have this conversation right now. Like, fair enough. And just walked off. And I've always been like, wow, he was too drunk to mug. The guy was like,
Well, that's what they tell you to do, isn't it?
too drunk for this. We can't.
They tell you to try to. If someone tries to mug you, you're meant to tell them to stop mugging, and I don't think that works. Like, that's not a thing.
What? Just to say, I can't have this conversation.
Stop. I mean, I'll give it a bash, but I don't think that's a viable mugging
Well, just
solution.
say, stop mugging me. Thanks.
Yeah, no, that's not on. Stop it. So you contributed to someone else's story, Josie.
My only
Have you got
story
your own drunk story or just your ex-boyfriends? Yeah.
Yeah, so the story of drunkenness is like being hungover. Can I just say, I'm at like a massive delay from you guys, 30 seconds behind you. And it's
like a cliffhanger each time.
So I'm just going to wait for you to hear that. So, now as I embark, I know, it's sad. I miss being part of it. I'm not a great way. Even worse for having a baby
before. This is so good.
I love this. We all need to wait for Josie. This story better be a banger.
This is hell. I'm going to go back to Jigsaw. Now, I'm not a great drinker. Maybe it's unbearable. All I remember is being so desperately hungover after that. I only really let myself go at Glastonbury, and then I fucking go on the lash, right? And I remember being so hungover at Glastonbury that the next morning I was lying in my tent and it was like 6 a.m. and I heard someone stood outside my tent going, Michael! And I was so hungover that I was like, this must be a test. And so I was like, yes. And it wasn't a test. They were just looking for something called Michael. But in my brain, I really thought they must be asking for me. Oh, thank fuck for that. So the waiting, there was silence. And then somebody did laugh. And I thought, oh, God. This is brutal death.
Zoom gigs must be so bad for you.
Can I just say, somebody says I've got dodgy internet. I have the finest internet that money can pay.
It's the money what you get as a comedian in lockdown. This is we need to sort your internet out. My day job's broadband. I'm going to get on that. But anyway, that was drunk stories. I'm gonna...
Yeah, hey, Vix, I'm not going to lie, Vix. You might have wanted to do your day job for Josie before the show.
I can only live with the decisions I made earlier. I can't change it now. We can only move forward. We will roll the ball.
No, I have good internet.
Basically, guys, this is Josie's pre-recorded. Yeah, it's pre-recorded, and we're all just trying to react to it like some kind of weird improv.
Josie's internet is so good that she's learned how to make her mouth move independently of her speech.
It's like a ventriloquist.
Josie Long's commanding time.
I don't think that's going to help, but sure.
So that is such a good power move. Just in the middle of the show to go, I'll go off, I'll come back.
We're 25 minutes into the show and we've done one ball.
Yeah, but for Josie, we're only 3 minutes in. So.
Right. Well, while we're all on the same time zone, let's move to the next category, which is Oh, here we
Oh.
go.
Am I back?
Ooh,
Hey, mate.
yeah.
Oh, what smooth internet over there.
Oh my god.
That's some good data rate.
The upload and the download.
Oh my goodness. The puzzle's taking up all the bandwidth. Yeah,
I
anyway,
can hear you
travel.
guys, but I think I'm probably at a delay.
Darren Stinson is like a
Josie,
dumb
Yeah, I
fusion
thought that we
film.
had quite good.
Josie, it's actually working better than it has. It's just now you're not moving.
We've just got Josie in audio. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I wasn't moving. I was just waiting for it to load and for it to be all right. You guys were all frozen up for me.
We're
This
all
is
waiting for you.
frustrating. Our internet has not let us down up till now.
Oh well. Anyway, yeah, travel. You've
Maybe I
got some
should
thinking
just
time,
leave
Josie.
and then come back.
Paul, we're going to start with you because you've travelled.
Oh,
I don't.
yeah.
I mean, you're all literally frozen up for me. This is a disaster.
The thing is, I feel like it's going to be hard to tell any anecdote with that. It's like being trash talked or like slapped in the game of something. It's like
I cannot go.
you could pop up at any point.
Yeah.
In any, and I don't know if you're the same, but she could appear anywhere in this formation for me either. So it's like,
Yeah, I'm scared.
it's like I'm genuinely scared she might just come through the door there. It's
With the Viking.
With the Viking.
But to be fair, of all the monsters that can appear, I think you can probably outrun it. Let's be fair.
Yeah, because she's 30 seconds behind.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Stab. They're gone. What?
Genius Polar Bear says Josie is okay here, so I'm not sure what stream they're watching. She's on you.
And now the reappearing spectre of
Hi,
Josie
I'm
Long.
back again. I can hear you, but I can't see you. I feel like I'm being actively disruptive to the show. I don't know what's going on with my internet. It's not usually a problem for anything. So what I'm going to do is I might go so you can actually record the show and I don't get in the way of it.
Oh,
No,
we'll
but
miss
otherwise the whole
you.
show will just be me doing this and it'll be a pain in the arse.
But Josie, it's so unbelievably funny.
yeah,
So good.
I know, but I feel like it's not going to be funny if you listen to it. It will just be
Yeah,
Oh,
me.
this
Hi.
is fine.
They should have shown up on
This is-
time.
This, do you know what? Already, I can tell you, we're halfway through. This is not going to make it to the podcast. I'm level with you.
that's all right.
This is
halfway
an exclusive for the viewers
But-
at home.
I feel like there's not a delay now. Is
No,
there a
there's
delay?
not. There's never a delay when you're
There's no
lamenting the internet. So you
I hate to tell you, there was never a delay. We just committed to the
I've
bit.
had to move on to Strongbow. Look what you've made me do.
Like the rest
Drinking
of
wine
us,
like a lady.
it's our mission to salvage this so that we make Vix put this out as a podcast, right? So the next 30 minutes are going
It's
to be
my mission to fucking torpedo it into the ground.
right.
Don't mind.
That
Let's
would
go.
make the last half hour make much
I'm
more
joking,
sense
I'm
if
joking.
that's true.
No, I'm joking. Can you imagine? I'm wearing my tragic Babes for Bernie 2016 sweatshirt, which is a cursed item in itself due to the fact that it's related to two sad political disappointments.
Everybody's having a lovely time and nobody wants you to leave. So
Oh God, no, I didn't. That's not what I just didn't want to disrupt the show by not being able to, not, you know, not being on the same literally wavelength.
So Paul,
Nope.
travel.
Did I not come up?
Yeah. Travel. I think that this is like the football equivalent of someone getting ready to take a penalty and then they like piss around with the ball or like they have to repaint the goal line or something. And it's like,
No,
Jeez.
I'm Chris Kamara. I'm like, I don't know, Jeff. I don't know what's happening. Did
Chris
someone
Kamara is a
score?
great
I won't remember.
singer.
He's amazing.
He's underrated
singer.
Is
The
he?
singer.
he's one
I've
of the
seen him
best,
perform.
he's one of the best Bradford players who's sung that I've heard. Top five.
That's some niche knowledge there, Paul. This is why you're the sports star. That doesn't
Ah,
make
yeah,
sense.
exactly.
Says Paul, travel for God's
Yeah.
sake.
Right. Well, I've got one story. I don't usually tell the story because it sounds complete. Like it's create a really weird story, and
In the
it's
context of the night, really.
the context of the night is all right. I'm also worried about the legality of it, but and in the context of the night, I feel this isn't. It says there's 47 people watching, but you know that's not many. It will go down as the story progresses. So
Yeah,
How
many
dare
of them are
you?
lawyers? It'll be fine.
How
no,
dare- say that about the audience. John, take
No,
the
I mean,
point.
as my story progresses, you'll share.
This is a boutique audience. This is high quality.
What I'm hoping is that there's not too many people listening, and also that none of them are connected to like the US authorities, because then the story takes a different turn.
Okay, we'll all promise we won't tell.
So
Right, guys?
So basically, I used to work in for a while I was the football manager of the worst football team in the world, and they're a very small.
Never not funny.
Luton Town.
No, worse than them. A small island called Pompeii in the middle of the Pacific, tiny little dot in the ocean, was the only team in the world never to have won a game of any kind. So I went there specifically.
You've drawn
That's
Josie
like
from her
Little
puzzle.
Win.
Look how excited she is.
Yeah,
Because of
just like
the
that.
American-
In fact, funny enough,
Have you seen
yeah. Well, they to
Let's
us.
Go Win?
I've seen they to us were the giants. You see, like that world, because we were the non-FIFA. We weren't even recognised. I went in search of the worst football team in the world, so I could live my dream of being a footballer, and then ended up being the coach. But basically, it's a long-winded way of saying I used to live and work in this tiny little island that was a speck in the ocean. Getting there was like almost impossible. And one time I was flying from the UK to get to this island, and I'd fly to Dubai to Manila. From Manila, I had to get 3 more flights to get there. So it's 26 hours of flying, 38 hours door to door. Basically, that was my commute. So there's one time I was flying, and I got to Manila, and at Manila this happened quite a lot. They just said the flight before us to the island I lived on or was working on had overflown. And this is something I never heard of. Overflying is something that sounds like they've landed in the sea. But basically, if the weather conditions closed in on this island, they couldn't land a plane. And this would happen quite a lot. And someone, in fact, the guy who sat next to me on my first time I ever flew there said, it's the most difficult place to land in the world because the runway's so short. They have to basically do an emergency crash landing. So if it rains, they can't land there. So I was stuck in Manila and in the waiting room for the next flight. And it was my flight, and there was another flight going out. And I was sat just in this waiting room, about 60 people getting progressively more pissed off because they were telling us a flight might go today, might not go today. The guy next to me was an American guy, really, really big military-looking American guy. And everyone else in the waiting room's kind of calm. We're pretty resigned to the fact we're not going anywhere soon. He's just spitting. He's going, he's actually saying this like American movie cliches, like, I'll get the fucking bird up in the sky, all that kind of stuff. He's like, and I'm thinking, I gently sent a guy, I don't think it's going to happen. Sure enough, it doesn't happen. They cancel the flight and his flight. He was on another flight, but in the same waiting room. They cancel the flight, and he's getting antsy, really antsy. They say, we're going to put you in a minibus, take you to a really nice hotel, and we'll try this all again tomorrow. But the problem is a typhoon hit Manila that night. So the rain's coming in, and this American guy's getting antsy. He's saying that I've got to get out tonight. But we all get herded into this bus, and I'm sat next to him thinking, this guy's getting a bit sketchy. Don't really like him too much. But on the bus, he starts saying to me, like, you don't understand. I've really got to get out of Manila. This is serious. I got to get out of here. I'm ex-US military, and I know stuff, and they don't want me in this country. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy, he seems kind of odd. So I appease him a little bit, and we get chatting. And he tells me basically 2-hour-long life story, but it culminates in the fact that he was in the military. He claims he learned some kind of military secrets that he wasn't supposed to know, and the US military now are constantly hunting him. And then he tells me that he's entered. The reason he's so worried about entering Manila, he said he entered Manila on a fake passport. It's not his passport. It's a forgery. He didn't think he was going to have to enter the Philippines. The Philippines has a pact where it sends everyone back to the US. It's like an extradition thing. He was supposed to just get the fuck out of there in transit and leave. So he's telling me all this on the plane around 4 other people who are listening to as well. So I'm like, this is sounding pretty sketchy.
Ripped.
Got back to the hotel. So we all get put in hotel rooms, get into hotel. Next morning, come down, guy's there. We have breakfast together. Just kind of a nice guy. He doesn't mention any of this shit the next morning. He's totally normal. So I'm like, did he just have an episode or something? The day after that, come down to breakfast, and there's only fucking US police there. And they're asking every single passenger to come in and have a chat to them. And they're basically looking for anyone who spoke to this guy who's absconded from the hotel in the middle of a typhoon.
And it was the Viking.
And here he is.
And the bit of this which sounds even more ridiculous than all the rest of it. So the military police basically are saying, did anyone chat to him? It's really like They're not pulling everyone into a room. No one knows that I have because I wasn't even on his flight. But then some fucker across the row says, yeah, this guy was chatting to him. Into a room. And this American military police saying, did he tell you anything? Did he say anything to you about where he might be going? Did he tell you about his eventual destination? I was like,
did he though?
No, he didn't. I was like, no. And they basically
me the real answer though, right? This is for us, but
no. Well, this is the freaky shit. So no, like I didn't know anything. They left me alone. All blows over. Like I get out of Manila 4 days later after the typhoon, get to Pompeii, open the book I was reading on the plane, and like halfway through the book that I was reading, I was way ahead of this point, so I hadn't looked back. Halfway through, he's left a little slip of paper, and all it says in it that is, "Hey friend, keep fighting the good fight." So I don't know what the fuck that was about, but basically,
oh my god,
I think about this quite a lot about this guy and who the fuck he was.
Welcome to Conspiracy Arcade.
Yeah, there you go. Was that all right?
That's amazing.
Wow. There's nothing going on in the chat. We're all just like...
It was like the end of Homeland. Isn't that what happened at the end of Homeland?
I don't know.
Are you just telling us a story from telly? Hang on.
I'm starting to feel as though the entire Cold War's been fought by one man. This is incredible.
The thing was, like, there's so much more to that. So I was trying to tell it fast. Like, I spoke to this man for about 3 or 4 hours in total. Like, he would come and sit next to me at breakfast. And I kept thinking it was like a Kaiser Soze thing, that I'd piece it all together and be like, fuck, it was Bin Laden. But no, I don't know. I have no idea who this guy was. I have no idea what his story was. He basically was saying that the US military had found out he knew something he shouldn't, and they were trying to pick him off every time. The only reason he had been anywhere dangerous, he'd gone back to the US to visit his mum, who was dying. Apparently she was like 90 something, she was dying. So he'd been back to the US, broken all his rules, and then got his way all the way back to Manila, and then got fucked because he had to go into the Philippines.
Oh, this is so exciting. I've got a crime podcast now, Lizzie.
I know.
It's a crime podcast.
Sign him up. And also
in the chat, I'm loving it.
Totally enthralled with that story, they say.
Crazy. I've been telling Paul to do a sports podcast. Don't listen to me. Do a podcast about that. Just that. 10 episodes.
I know. I kind of still want to know now, but
I need closure.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about this before. This is 11 years ago, so I hadn't thought about this for like about 4 years. And when I thought about it, I thought, Jesus Christ, this just sounds like a mental dream I had. But yeah, it's true.
So yeah, anyone else got any holiday stories?
I'm part of a world famous travel collective. Yeah, guys. Okay,
None of us have anything like that.
No, guys, I know I've totally overstated. Just wait, hear me out. It's not what it seems. No, me and my American friends. So we go away together a lot. So there's 3 of them. Oh my god, yeah, 3 of them. One me. And the first time we were away, we were in. Don't worry, we were in LA on a rooftop pool. Yeah, it was fine. And there was this guy, and he was really annoying us, and he was like asking us questions all about our lives. So we started to just lie. So what we did was, it was the 4th of May a few years ago. So we lied, and we said that we were 4 divorcees who had all met on a forum supporting women that had got divorced. And through this forum, we'd found out that we'd all got divorced on the same day, the 4th of May. So we decided to become friends. And then we go away every year on the 4th of May to like celebrate our friendship. And so we just told this guy just to get him off our case. And this then escalated. So like word went around the hotel. Have you heard there's this amazing bunch of women? They're so supportive. They met on a forum. We basically became famous in the hotel. We were getting free drinks. So 5 years later, we've carried this on. We have sweatshirts that say 4MDC, 4th of May Divorce Club. We do a 4MDC trip every year where we go to a different part of the world and we basically spread our story. And we each have individual stories within. So one of us was like, one marriage was like childhood sweethearts. One was like a hippie wedding at a yoga retreat. One was married a celebrity and can't talk about it because they're under NDA. And there's another one as well. And we just keep this going every year.
Is there merch? I want to be part of this.
Yeah, there's merch.
Part of this real bad.
That's very impressive.
You want some 4MDC merch, babes? I'll send it your way.
I mean, that's basically on Netflix.
With all of our long-term commitments and jokes that are only funny to us.
This is wonderful.
Seriously, this is exactly what I'm going to see on Netflix. Like that is such a thing that you just put on, and the trailer starts playing for that, and you think, Yeah, that's exactly what you got.
Yeah.
You should write. Let's write it now. Look at the talent in this room. Let's write this script.
Absolutely,
The writer's
pop it
room.
in, and then just add supplementary characters: the Viking and man who leaves a note.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yep. Josie's there, solving it all like a puzzle.
There can be a
Yeah.
scene in the club.
There will be.
I've got all the
Club. You have got all the clues. Your HQ, you've got all the notice board with all the string on it. So you're like, yeah. But for some reason, we can't ever get hold of you because you live in the future or the past. We haven't decided.
Whatever it is, just solve it. Just put it together.
When we first formed the 4th of May Divorce Club for MDC, we were in LA, as I say, and we were going around like bars and things. Because obviously in LA, you can't just like walk like from pub to pub like you do in London. You have to literally like get driven everywhere or whatever. And then we kept turning up at these bars and clubs where there were really long lines. So I just started this thing where I'd go to the front of the line and I'd just go to the bouncer and I'd go, Andres sent us. And he'd go, and then a woman with a clipboard would come along and be like, is there a problem? I'd be like, Andres sent us. And she'd look all flustered and they'd let us straight in. And it started to work at every single club we went to. So there's a tip in LA. Just say Andres sent us.
All right. I mean, I'm probably never going to go to LA and line up for the clubs because I'm 37 this year. But I'll pass it on to younger, cooler friends. John, you must have at least one travel story. I won't believe it.
I have a cute travel story, which doesn't involve defrauding people, which is nice. Or to be fair, the world's most talkative secret war veteran. That's
Deep throat, talking to Paul. You just got space you can find it.
I was in Vegas. It was my honeymoon, and we did 2 weeks in Vegas, and I got a bit accustomed to being in Las Vegas, and I bought it's not in the room, which is unusual, but I bought a very, very large silver bling crucifix, a bowler hat that I'd actually brought with me, which worked, then a shirt and just like blue jeans and these ridiculous cowboy boots. And I was just sort of walking around Vegas. And part of the reason we'd gone there is when I was 15, I was the most tiresome wannabe beatnik boy. You know,
was that when you were on Australian Idol doing the bit
that was when I was 17 and figured out how to get people to look at me, which involved going on a talent show and screaming. That worked.
That video before I knew you.
Good.
I sent that around work because I thought you were nuts. So
because that show didn't go out live everywhere in Australia because Perth was 3 hours behind. I knew I was on because a friend from Melbourne texted me and just wrote, "Was it your intention to look insane?"
he just
I stopped a party.
Words into their faces, basically.
Yeah, it was so nice to do. But yeah, with that spirit, because I like to do things, right? I decided in Vegas, I thought, well, when I was 15, I liked Hunter Thompson so much. I liked Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So as we crested into the second week and we went to downtown Vegas, I started talking just like Hunter S. Thompson, as much as possible, Nixon. Right, which my wife indicated was a very good joke that I could feel free to stop doing at any time. And I started just going, "Oh, come on, can't I just ask people for drugs? Like, I just want to ask people, because I don't take drugs, but I'm like, come on, can't I just ask people for acid like Hunter Thompson?" And she, as usual, sort of, "I'll let the idiot have a go. It's only going to end in some problem, or it'll be fine, like whatever." And I just saw this guy, and I just thought, "Oh, this will be the man." And we were in downtown Vegas, which was really cool because all of the waitresses were super experienced and had deep cigarette voices. So my wife still does an impression of the one who looked at me and went, "What do you want, honey?" And we're still so excited, like the cigarette ash going into your Philadelphia cheesesteak and all this stuff, and meeting a Vietnam vet and playing war with him, which is where I was like, "Yeah, you think this is a game I enjoy?" It's like, okay, Jesus, good fun. I know secrets, man. And we were down there, and I just saw this bloke, and I thought, well, look, that guy, if anyone knows where to get LSD, it's that bloke. And I can't remember exactly why I thought this. I was hammered. I'd had a lot of Bloody Marys, and I sort of, Johnny Depp, Hunter S. Thompson walked over to him and "Excuse me, you got any acid?" And the guy stood up to his full height, which was colossal, and just did this, the most American thing I've ever seen. He just went, "Sir, I do not have any LSD. No one has any LSD. It is not the 70s." And I thought I had been brutally dissed. However, he then just went, "This is my wife, Tennille." And I said hello to Tennille. And he went, "However, sir, Tennille has some marijuana. Would you enjoy some marijuana, sir?"
Yes, Neil.
And he did this. He went, "Okay, then," and then held out his hand. And I realized he wanted me to tip him. And it had this real vibe of, "You have insulted me and my wife. We have offered to share our marijuana. You will pay me or I will kill you."
Pay me
And
the
I
toll.
did. And away I went. And that was downtown Vegas. It was a great day.
You paid a man to not have any drugs.
I paid a man not to be offended. And to be honest, I feel like I've done that a lot.
And that man was the Viking.
Dun, 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 dun. "Sir, I will not punch you in the back of the head. Please look at me, sir. Sir." Well, he's just discourteous. He's too discourteous to hurt.
Oh, the Viking. Josie, have you got any stories about travel? It's like a seance. Like, are you with us? Josie, knock once, but yes. have we lost her again?
I don't know if I really have. Like, I hear all of your words and oh, no. Am I still here?
You are.
Yes, Josie.
This is good because I do have.
Okay, we'll move on then.
Another plane. I've
You
travelled
are
to another
living-
realm.
Oh my.
It's beautiful, but it's so quiet. It's so warm. I know we're all gonna die.
Oh my god.
Can you really? I'm just quiet.
I'm gonna say,
It's just so-
no, we can
I'm
hear
glad
you.
I've got a jigsaw. Yeah. You can't fuck all traveling times. Well, I thought I'd, and then I heard yours and it was so good that I was like, oh, mine is dull as fuck. It's literally.
Let's have it.
I went to.
We haven't got time to do another category, so you've got to make this. You've got to make this 3 minutes.
I'll jazz it up. I went to Vietnam on my own, and I wasn't supposed to go on my own. My sister was supposed to come, but like we were supposed to buy the ticket. It was like, oh yeah, I'm not going. And I was like, we're going for a month. So I was like, I guess I'm going to Vietnam on my own for a month. Sure. This was like when I was about 24, so last year, shall we say? And it was a while ago, and it's never come back that time. And I was not going to be as interesting as your stories. It doesn't involve a cabal. It involves crime. It just involves the fact that I was there over Christmas Day. On Christmas Day, I felt really weird to do because I was on my own and I sort of in a country that doesn't really celebrate Christmas. And so I decided I would walk to a temple. There was a temple on the outskirts of the town I'm staying in. And I was walking there. And for about, it was a mile away. And for 3/4 of a mile, I was walking in step with the rubbish truck. And for the whole 3/4 of the mile, the rubbish truck was playing Happy Birthday. And it was so weird. And I kept thinking, like, is it Happy Birthday to Jesus? Like, is it deliberate? Or, like, is this a tune that, like, this isn't a tune that nobody knows. Like, everyone knows Happy Birthday. Like, it's not, it's a universal. And then it brings the rubbish out, like, the Happy Day, and they're like, oh, it's a rubbish truck. And I was just sort of thinking, like, this is so fucked up. Like what does this mean now? People sing Happy Birthday and they, like, also think of the. Anyway, as I say, it's not as good as meeting a guy who was evading the law, and it's not as good as trying to tee off of a waiter. But it was a sweet moment in my life, And I remember just
I liked it.
We loved it.
fucking hell. I don't even know if
Liked it a
you
lot.
guys can hear me or see me.
We loved it.
We loved
But yeah,
it.
basically,
We loved it.
I just kept thinking about happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Jesus. Bring the rubbish. Happy birthday to you. Sad. What purgatory is like. For sure, I wouldn't go to heaven. I think I would be in this kind of a
Oh my goodness.
purgatory is recording a podcast when you're at a different speed to everyone else.
It's funny though, isn't it? It's really added a little frisson.
I can't tell if you're waiting or if there's something else.
Josie can't see us at all.
Oh my god. Vix
the
is
best.
trying to engineer a happy ending to this, and the pathos just keeps shining through.
Oh, I cannot cope. Well, I don't know. Has anyone got a quick fire embarrassing injury?
So,
I want to straighten my foot with some GHDs.
What?
You know GHDs?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
not the bit of the story I didn't understand.
They were on the floor, and I didn't realise they were on. And I just put my foot in it. It singed, well, what do you call it? Burnt my foot. I mean, it's not a particularly funny story, but have the scar. To this
Harrowing.
day. Have the wound to this day.
Wow.
I've got one.
Of course you have.
I was 9 years old. There was a trampoline in the
I
yard.
fucked my
I
shin
jumped up.
on a narrow boat. Fucked it.
Yep.
John, carry on.
No. That was fucking fantastic. All I did was I jumped in the air. I did the splits. I fell down. Did the old Rick Mail. Missed both my legs. So, right on the balls. Testicular torsion, which my mother sent me to school. She was going to send me to school. I went to a school that we had to wear short pants at the time. I was able to convince her that I didn't need to go to school that day. The second day, when my right gonad had descended below the rim of my pants and was purple. So that was fun. That was a big day for everybody. I was then sent to a doctor who looked at it, poked it, and went, "Does that hurt?" He's a wonderful man, still alive, bless him. And that was fun.
Is there anything you can do about that, or do you just have to wait it out with your big old...
No, we had emergency surgery. They literally had to untwist it. It was great. Big fun for everybody.
Wow.
Of course, by the time I got back to school, everybody knew that. So, I didn't get a fun nickname like Old Iron Balls. It was just people going, "You're never going to have kids?" So basically, you got one ball. That was fun. Big day for everybody.
Oh,
Chelsea Long hurt her shin. It was a big time. Big time.
Sam BTW Car has a scar on their forehead that due to an accident that is so embarrassing, they've never told anyone what really happened.
Was it a GHD?
No, but somebody's wife sat on a GHD. Oof, that made my arse clench in horror.
What is a GHD?
Oh, hair straighteners. Like that.
Oh my god, I've got some of those down.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, no.
someone sat on one.
Yeah, is this all just product placement for GHD? It's really bland, isn't it?
Please send us some stuff.
I think it's got your hair.
Got a weird hair
Or your anus.
Arguably not before time, but also unbelievably, we have reached the end. The winner is, I'm not even going to do the math. The winner is Josie's broadband. Because that entertained me more than anything. I couldn't have anticipated it. It was absolutely extraordinary.
Very sad.
It's been a joy. Lizzy, where can people find you if they want to hear more?
I don't know. Just go to my
Divorce
blog.
Women's Club.
Go to Praise Redacted on Medium and read about my month-long experiment into romantic comedies on Netflix. Someone's just described this as wonderfully chaotic, and I think that's a great review.
I'm going to use that on posters. Paul, where can people find you? More stories like that. Obviously, not the ones with legal implications.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if people are trying to find me off the back of this, it's probably to settle grudges. So,
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter and stuff. You'll probably find me if you want to.
Paul_C_Watson is where you'll find him on Twitter. You're going to make my podcast crime evidence. You're coming with me on this. And John Robertson, you are king of Twitch.
Oh,
So
thank you. I'm on it a lot. No, the people who
you're
are
on it
kings
now.
and queens I know the people who are kings and queens of Twitch have a lot more money than we do. But I'm at Robotron on Twitter and Robotron on twitch.tv/Robotron. There we go.
And Josie, where will we find you?
Mate, you can't even find me on this podcast. So, like, it's going to be harder to find me in the wider world. I'm on Twitter at Josie Long if you want to see whether or not I dislike the government. I'm on Instagram if you want to see occasionally me taking a photo of something. I'm a comedian.
Have you been
performing
to
a
the
tour.
puzzle?
The puzzle's not finished. I was hoping that I could at least get that finished. There's still like 25 pieces to go, and I'm so sorry. It's a big
Keep us
fucking puzzle.
posted. Keep us informed.
Thank you.
And this has been the Comedy Arcade. You can find that everywhere podcasts are found. It's at comedy_arcade on Twitter. I'll probably cut some of the bits of this that are viable. Put that there. None of the legally weird ones. This has been a surreal but beautiful joy. Stick around because there is a video games quiz show next, and I think it's going to be really fun. They've been hyping up the chat, and they've got the bar is pretty high in it for chaos. You have been watching a version of the Comedy Arcade that you probably won't see again. It was an exclusive format. Thank you all for joining us. It's been an absolute joy. So I think I can hand it back over now to our lovely host. There he is. Hi.
Thanks, guys. That was. Oh, I seem to have put a mobile mixer. So we found out. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. That was. Oh, my face hurts. I've been grinning. It seems to be every show we've had today has had at least one person with some form of internet issues. So it seems fitting to have you guys have the same with Josie.
It was all planned. It was all planned.
Funniest internet problems we've had today. So.